I'm Warwick Spencer, and I am the president of the Advent Foundation, and I am here today with Witney Fisher, who is the chairwoman of the Outreach Commission here at the Advent, and we're going to learn more about what the Outreach Commission is doing today with Witney. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Warwick.
I guess, Witney, the first question that comes to mind is, how did you first get involved in the Outreach Commission?
About 5 or 6 years ago, I was asked to serve on vestry, and as part of our role within the church, being on vestry, we are asked to select 2 commissions to kind of learn more about, but then also serve as the vestry liaison from that commission to the full vestry. And so when I was looking through the list, immediately the Outreach Commission popped out to me. I have always had a love for Spartanburg, for our community, and helping serve our nonprofits. And so it's been rewarding enough for me that even past my time of serving on vestry, I have stayed on and continue to be a part of the Outreach Commission.
And so how does your commission reach out to the community? How do you do what you do?
Well, you know, we're very fortunate that I think that we are a part of a very loving and giving church community, but I think also Spartanburg as a whole. And I even, at the very beginning of being on the Outreach Commission, someone once said that they had a friend move to Spartanburg and they asked which church in Spartanburg community is out in the community doing work, and the person on the commission immediately said that Advent. Advent is out there doing work within our community. And so I'm not sure how long this commission has been around, but we get our funding sources from the silent auction of the oyster roast, from the bazaar proceeds, a portion of the bazaar proceeds, and then also a large chunk of our money comes from the Advent Foundation.
Right. On
an annual basis. And so that dollar amount will kind of vary year by year, but we are fortunate enough to have a roughly, it always, in the time that I've been a part of it, around $120,000 to $130,000 that we're able to award locally right here in Spartanburg.
And some of that is programming dollars, I think you referred to earlier, and some is grant dollars, is that right?
So we're actually able to award about 120, 130.
That's great.
Yeah, the outreach program itself has a small programming budget to kind of any other, like if we had different programs for our parishioners that would be helping raise or support outreach efforts, that's what those funds would be used for.
And so whom do you work with to make decisions about worthwhile grants in the community? Is there any other part of the church that is involved in the grant making, grant awarding process?
Yeah, so we have about 12 to 14 members on our commission, and so we meet once a month to kind of support an annual cycle of our outreach efforts. But these 14 individuals, we have a very detailed grant application process. We have a point system that we go through. And a few years ago, we decided to collaborate and streamline it at the same time as the ECW, Episcopal Church Women. We found, and the feedback we received from local nonprofits was that it would just be easier to have one application, and so it gets funneled out to both groups. And then because of the focus of the ECW and ours, it turns out that we're able to, I guess, be more efficient with our dollars and spread it.
Reach more people. I know that Mary H. Wright is a big recipient of monies and support efforts from the Advent. Are there any other projects or ministries in particular that come to mind that the Outreach Commission plays a big part in supporting?
Yeah, I think longstanding members of our church wouldn't be surprised to see some of our larger grant recipients. You know, certainly the St. Luke's Medical Clinic receives a healthy grant, typically Total Ministries, but what's really great is to see the impact we're able to award even in the smaller, the tiny nonprofits in Spartanburg that receiving $1,000 to $2,000 can make a really big impact. So we have about 20 to 25, I would say, each year, and but yes, certainly Mary H. Wright, Total Ministries, and St. Luke's are probably among the top three.
I would imagine that another important aspect of the work that you all do is helping to connect the dots between those grant recipients and other people resources within the church. Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that given that I am involved in different areas of the church, I think that it's been something I've been able to see that, I'm also a Girl Scout leader, and
right.
Now the older my daughter gets, the more she's able to independently think of projects. But, we've made an effort to kind of focus on that. We know the church does a lot of work with Mary H. Wright, with Total Ministry. So how can, when we're doing service efforts, kind of double down on some of the work that the church is already supporting.
Right. And there are always new needs within the community, I know, and one that I've heard you mention before is maybe the Opportunity Center. Is that right? Tell us a little bit about that. That's one you're exploring, I believe.
It is, and I think that that's been one of the byproducts of COVID was we kind of lost a little bit of our momentum in to seeing how we could plug in and support those efforts. I think we had it on the calendar. It was like March 17th or 18th of 2020 for our commission to go and meet with and see this space, and then everything changed. So we have not gotten back there, but in our last commission meeting, we were just Elizabeth Hayes, who's our staff liaison, is going to reach back out to this group to see how we can come in, because everyone in our commission, and I think that we're seeing in our community as a whole, that homelessness and helping support that this need in our community is definitely, we see as important.
Good. So Witney, thinking about what we here as parishioners at the Advent can do to support the Outreach Commission, what suggestions would you have for us? What can we do to make your work more impactful?
Get involved. Seek out the information that is constantly coming out from the church in the weekly emails and the parish bulletins. There's not a lack of need in our community, and I think that certainly now more than ever, we know that as leaders in our community, as a church community, we have a role and responsibility that we need to be doing what we can, because we're fortunate enough to be able to. And don't be afraid that even the smallest amount of involvement doesn't make a big impact. I think that sometimes we're afraid that we're going to end up overcommitting ourselves.
Right.
But truly, the more people we can engage, the healthier our community will be. But then also, I think the more you'll realize how wonderful our church community is as well.
Well, it's helpful to hear about the many avenues for involvement that are available to us through the Outreach Commission and through your group's work. Elizabeth Hayes is always available and is ready to take your suggestions, I know, and help coordinate those efforts. But from all of us at the Advent Foundation and all of us as parishioners at the Advent, we want to thank you for all that you do and the time and effort that you make and the good works that the Outreach Commission does in our community. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Certainly, we wouldn't be able to give away money if we didn't get it from you.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.